people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
I like Chantel. We've always been cool. We know each other from the amateurs, but also we've communicated, through social media over the last few years. We both openly have talked about wanting, she said she was going to move up eventually, and we both share the ring together. So we've always known that would happen. But like deep down, I think she's a cool person. And yeah, I've never forced rivalries. Anytime you've seen me in the ring or on stage with people, that's always been very authentic and genuine.
What do you think that you do better than Chantel from what you've seen? You've been up, like you say, you've known her since the amateurs, but you've also been ringside and you've seen her box as a pro. What have you seen that you think that you might do better?
I think I just put my combinations together better at this stage right now. You can see it in the last Andy fight. You see it in the Mary Spencer fight. Putting my combinations together. And I think I know that Chantel likes to come forward and bang on the inside, but I do that better. I'm a better inside fighter. So she wants to take it there, which I'm sure it'll get there. Just our styles is how we like to fight. That's where I feel like I'll dominate and I'll shine.
I happen to agree with Mikaela Mayer, which is funny because that's not how they started out, Mikaela and Chantel. Chantel has always shown a mean streak, a lot of aggression and infighting from the very beginning of her career, whereas Mikaela, in the beginning, she struck me as more of a boxer and more of a mover. Now she's more of a bruiser as she's climbed in weight and filled out. Her power has really come along, and I would go as far as saying that now she is better on the inside than Chantel Cameron, who recently reunited with Nigel Travis and Jamie Moore. You know that Chantel has had a lot of corner changes over the years, but she decided to go back with them as she felt best with them. 35 years old. To Mikaela Mayer, who's a year older at 36, sporting a professional record of 22 wins with 2 losses and no draws, 5 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 24 professional bouts. Those 2 losses, both close and competitive fights, both decisions controversial, especially the last one, because to a lot of people, Mikaela didn't lose in Liverpool. She didn't lose to Natasha. Natasha got a gift. Is Chantel about to get one? Sporting a professional record of 22 wins with 1 loss and no draws, 8 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 23 professional bouts. She's gonna have home field advantage. Once again, Mikaela Mayer is not only traveling to the United Kingdom, but conceding home field advantage to the hometown fighter. She didn't just fight Natasha Jonas in the UK, she fought her in Liverpool, where Natasha's from. Now she's fighting Chantel in Birmingham, where Chantel is from. Chantel, who's currently on a 4-fight winning streak after having dropped a majority decision to Katie Taylor. Fought some respectable names up until this point. Elham Mekhaled, Jessica Kamara, former champion Patricia Bergult. Not immediately recognizable to the casual observer, but I know those fighters, and those are good fighters. The thing is, it's been a long time since Chantel Cameron wowed me with a performance. I might argue that she's regressed over the years, and maybe that's why she's back with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis. Currently on a 4-fight winning streak to Mikaela Mayer, who's on a 3-fight winning streak after having dropped a controversial decision to Natasha Jonas that should have gone to her. It went to Natasha. Mikaela did everything right in that Natasha Jonas fight. She came forward, stepped into her punches, pressed the issue, threw combinations, and was the busier fighter in the fight. In spite of that, they jobbed her. All that come forward aggression, if you can believe that, she's become even more aggressive, showing more of it in both Sandy Ryan fights and the Mary Spencer fight in October of last year. This upcoming fight in August will be Mikaela's first of this one, and her first under the MVP banner. Conceding home field advantage again, though. Is that wise? I mean, if the fight is remotely close or competitive, if it's a tight fight, you know what they're gonna do. I believe Mikaela Mayer can beat Chantel Cameron on the inside. I believe she's a more fierce and defensible fighter there, but not only that, she's a stronger puncher. Maybe she didn't used to be when she was fighting down there at 130, but now at 154, she's got the bigger frame to fill out better than Chantel. It's made her more dangerous, whereas Chantel, she looks a bit slower. She is the shorter, more portly fighter, so the added weight may be slowing her down. I expect Mikaela Mayer's strategy for Chantel Cameron to include banging it out on the inside, though not only that, her being the taller, longer fighter, she's not limited to banging with Chantel on the inside. She's got the height and length to also box from the outside, move and punch, and I expect that the strategy will include a bit of both. I'm going to go with Mikaela Mayer to win a points decision in spite of conceding home field advantage. The third time's going to be the charm. You know, when she fought Alicia in the UK and when she fought Natasha Jonas in the UK, those decisions that didn't go her way, I expect that she's going to make this decisive enough. She's going to win on points. I think she's going to win a decision.
Over the next, 6 years, me and my team have to fucking deliver on a lot of different fronts for Paramount so that when we're looking down the barrel of our deal ending, these are the guys that I'm going to be competing with. All these other fucking, I'll do a press conference and I got my press going, oh, fucking Oscar De La Hoya said, what? Fucking Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn said, and fucking all these other guys. Jake Paul said, guys, we are not the same. Those guys are not my fucking. They're all competing with each other. They're all gonna fucking beat each other up and blow all their fucking money and do whatever they're gonna do. Those guys are not my competition. So the question you asked me is, how much longer am I to do? I have so much shit that's going on right now that I want to do, and however long it fucking takes. But the new thing that I'm really focused on is boxing and building that up over the next couple of years. And got a lot of big announcements over the next month. So I'm still having fun. I love this shit. I've been on the road for 15 fucking days and I'm not going home till Monday. And then I go out on the road again right after that. This is going to be, it's crazy because if you look at what we've accomplished, like Kyle said when we started the podcast, this is probably the busiest year of my career this year with all the shit that we got going on. So I still love it. I still got the fucking energy to do it. And so who knows? I might be 80 still doing this shit. Who knows?
Believe it or not, that was actually very wise on Dana White's part. What he said, it may have come off like arrogance, saying that Bob and Eddie and Oscar, it's not his competition. He's not competing with those guys. They're going to take each other out. Are they, though? They're all on the same platform now. They have a common interest. They have to deliver metrics to the DAZN platform the same way that Dana has to deliver metrics to the Paramount platform. And that's where the wisdom in what he said lies. Hard to say based on the ingredients that Zuffa Boxing has now they could ever outperform Matchroom or Top Rank, Golden Boy, because the big names and the big brands are still over there at DAZN, even though it's a comparatively more expensive platform. Big time boxing. The big names are over there. Dana doesn't have that. Not quite yet, signing fighters like Edgar Berlanga and Richardson Hitchins would are tantamount to Matchroom castaways. Got Conor Ben. Conor Ben, in double-crossing Eddie Hearn, migrating from Matchroom over to Zuffa, he's not exactly the Brits' sweetheart right now, so what's the true value in having him, especially when you're about to cash him out against Ryan Garcia? Zuffa doesn't have the bodies, not yet, but they've got some tools, they've got some good ingredients, and Dana White, he's got his eyes on the ball. He's got the right idea that his job, before anything, before competing with anyone, is delivering metrics to the Paramount Plus platform. And it's encouraging that this early in the deal, he already knows that, and he hasn't lost sight of it. For an example of a group of people that did, look no further than the PBC, who had landmark deals on both Showtime and Fox, but they didn't deliver to their broadcasters. They thought it was more important to deliver inflated purses to their fighters, and as a result, they ended up losing both networks. Got some people out there that still try to decorate it, still try to skirt around the fact that the reason Fox gave them the boot and Showtime is because the numbers weren't good. For the money they were kicking out for that content, they weren't getting much back, and maybe it's because PBC was more focused on delivering inflated purses to their fighters via pay-per-views instead of delivering metrics to the broadcaster. We've often talked about that over the years, that when you decide to put a fight behind a paywall, you sacrifice a sizable portion of the audience. So if you're gonna do that, it should be for more than just 150 or 200,000 pay-per-view buys. A little over 200,000 or just 300,000. A network the size of a Fox is not going to be impressed with that. They're available in millions upon millions of homes, but you're not delivering them millions of metrics. Though on a network the size of Fox, you should be able to. A good example is the Spence versus Porter fight that they decided to bill as a pay-per-view when, if they would have did it as a regular fight, regular price, keep the purses under control. On a network as big as Fox, I think they could have done 4-5 million households with that fight, maybe more, on a Saturday night, and that would have impressed Fox more than just a paltry 300,000 or whatever it was. Perfect example of how the PBC was more focused on delivering inflated purses to their fighters instead of delivering metrics to their broadcast partner. And how did that end? Didn't end well for them. They're stuck over there at Amazon Prime doing what is tantamount to crowd-funded boxing. GoFundMe boxing, since Amazon ain't giving them a budget. Dana White doesn't want to make that mistake. He's not distracted by whatever Asuka says or whatever Eddie says or what's supposed to be the rivalry between them. Maybe they are competing. In a manner of speaking, you can always cross-compare who's doing the bigger shows that are generating more money, bigger gates, bigger pay-per-views if they are pay-per-views. You can always gauge what cards are fans most interested in. And in that arena, well, maybe they are competing. And in that arena, maybe Matchroom and the other promoters are doing better than Zuffa, but they've had a head start. I mean, Zuffa's only been around for 6 months, so what do you expect? You're supposed to be doing better than Zuffa, at least right now. Though in a very general sense, all of the competition stuff for Dana White takes a back seat to his responsibility to deliver metrics to his broadcaster. That comes first. That comes before anything, because without that, your fights and your fighters, they don't have a home. The deal just started. I believe that it's either a 5 or a 6 or a 7-year deal. I forget how long it is, but Paramount Plus are in it for the long haul, and Zuffa Boxing and Dana White are just getting started. So they've got plenty of time to settle in and make inroads into the sport, but I would say that so far, so good. They haven't climbed Mount Everest yet and conquered the summit, but who would expect them to just 6 months after they've launched? Let's be realistic. They've done a good number of shows, debuting in the United States and the United Kingdom. They're set to debut in Ireland. They're signing fighters. They're getting shit done. Case in point with the recently announced Edgar Berlanga versus Stephen Butler fight, where former IBF champion Hitchins will be facing Ricardo Salas next month on the 26th, and in New York. Remember Eddie Hearn kept going on about how they're doing fights in the garage, in the basement, what is the UFC Apex over there in Vegas, where now they're branching out as Edgar Berlanga headlines Zuffa Boxing's New York card while Hitchins makes his welterweight debut. Edgar Berlanga will return on July 26th against Stephen Butler in the main event of Zuffa Boxing's New York show at MSG's Infosys Theater, otherwise known as the Hulu Theater, where Teofimo Lopez fought a good number of times when he was with Top Rank. The card will also feature former junior welterweight champion Hitchins making his first appearance as a welterweight. The promotion announced that Berlanga, 23-2 with 18 knockouts, will face Stephen Butler, 38-5 with 1 draw, 32 knockouts. The event will be broadcast throughout North America on Paramount Plus. The bout marks Berlanga's first appearance since suffering a 5th-round knockout loss to Hamza Shiraz last July in Queens, New York. Before the defeat, the Brooklyn native had rebounded from his unanimous decision loss to Canelo with a win over Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz, guy who had just did a 10-year bid. Something like that. Stephen Butler enters the fight riding momentum after moving up to super middleweight. The Canadian has recorded 4 consecutive knockout wins at super middle, defeating Fernando Farias, Jose Macias, Stefan Fonjo, and Ramadan Hisseni. Eye of the Tiger Management President, Camille Estefan, believes Butler is arriving in New York at the right time in his career, and the right time to fight Edgar. I can't compare Edgar Berlanga to either Yanni Beck or Ryota Murata, but I can assure you that the Stephen Butler who will fight in New York has nothing in common with the boxer he was 5 years ago. The power has always been there, but with the maturity he now possesses and the physical strength he's developed at super middle, I would even go as far as to say that a Stephen who sticks to his game plan is the favorite against Berlanga, said Estefan. Butler echoed that confidence ahead of what will be another opportunity to perform on a major stage. I've proven that I'm ready to return to the international stage. I fought in Japan, so New York doesn't intimidate me. In fact, it's perfect because it's not too far from my training camp in Connecticut. As for the rest, I'm working hard and I plan to seize my opportunity in New York. You'll see. This is my moment, Stephen Butler said. The card will also feature former junior welterweight title holder Richardson Hitchins making his welterweight debut against Ricardo Magic Man Salas. Berlanga rose to prominence by winning his first 18 professional bouts by first-round knockout. The 29-year-old later challenged Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship in September of 2024 before falling short on the scorecards, subsequently being knocked out by Hamza Shiraz, and we haven't seen him since. He's on the bounce, he's on the rebound, and Stephen Butler would serve as the ideal rebound fight. Stephen Butler has been around for some years. You can tell, if he's been around long enough, that he shared the ring with both Ryota Murata and Yanni Beck. Ryota Murata, the Olympic gold medalist of Japan, retired some years ago. Stephen Butler shared the ring with him like he's shared the ring with Yanni Beck Alimkhanalai, now set to share the ring with Edgar Berlanga, coming off a hot streak. A 4-fight winning streak to be exact, though he's lost 5 times. And all 5 times he's lost by way of knockout. Stephen Butler, God bless him, is a bit of a glass Joe. Nothing he's done in the subsequent 4 fights that followed his last knockout loss prove otherwise. None of those guys were world-class fighters, world-class contenders, and that's not saying that Edgar Berlanga is, because he isn't, but I do think he cracks hard enough that he could stop Stephen Butler. Now, I don't know what the plan for Edgar is, it being that Edgar still campaigns as a super middleweight, where initially Zuffa Boxing said that they're not going to do the juniors and the supers, divisions like 140, 154, 168, yet they chose to sign Edgar. That essentially means to do fights for this guy, they're gonna have to regularly look outside of their own borders. Fighters that aren't signed to Zuffa. I don't expect Edgar, having signed to Zuffa, to share the ring with any of the big established names at 168. Maybe he shouldn't, because it's not like he could beat any of those guys. But then why sign him? And you can strategically use Edgar on the East Coast, New York in particular, to do some fights and sell some tickets. If you can get him back in the winner's bracket and on a winning streak, maybe you can fool enough of those Puerto Ricans to start believing in this guy again. Sell some tickets. I don't think Zuffa Boxing is about to conquer the sport because they signed the likes of Richardson Hitchins or Edgar Berlanga.
Of course not. There's a lot more work that needs doing, but they know that.